It's the industry that's supposed to help revive San Francisco, with the major players in artificial intelligence all moving downtown. But on Monday, Replit, an AI company valued at over $1 billion, announced it was leaving the city. Despite the relocation, Replit says it's not going far. They're simply moving down the peninsula to Foster City.
Some employees who used to show up for work in San Francisco will now be heading to work in San Jose and Palo Alto, and soon over the next few weeks, according to an internal email.
Elon Musk says he is moving the headquarters of X out of San Francisco to Austin, Texas. Musk says it's in response to Governor Newsom signing a law banning policies that require teachers to tell parents if their child changes their gender identity.
In that email obtained by the New York Times, ex-chief executive Linda Yaccarino wrote to employees, "This is an important decision that impacts many of you, but it is the right one for our company long term." Now, this appears to be Musk making good on his threat to leave San Francisco and California over political differences.
Musk says he's also moving SpaceX headquarters from the LA area to the company's rocket launch site called Starbase in Texas.
X's departure is the latest blow to San Francisco, which, according to real estate company CBRE, has a 37% vacancy rate as of last quarter.
I can confirm from two insiders that Oracle is laying off thousands of employees. Notifications were sent out today. It comes as the company continues to double down on its massive AI bet, developing and leasing data centers across the country. As we know, it's gone to the debt market to fund these bets, now looking at another option by reducing its workforce as a way to drum up more cash. In fact, there was a TD Cowen report last month suggesting that 20 to 30,000 layoffs would free up about around $10 billion. We're looking at the stock up just about 3% here. More as we get it, guys.
We've got Pfizer abandoning its South San Francisco research site. And you might say, well, Sean, maybe they're just consolidating somewhere else. Maybe maybe they've got another plant, they've got other operations elsewhere. Maybe there's biotech in other places. Yes, those are all true. But today, what I'm going to focus on is Let's cut right to it. Let's just get right to it in my first minute of talking, right? The main point of this whole bad boy is right here. Company executives cited shifting market conditions, all right? And the need to consolidate operations closer to other key sites in Massachusetts and Switzerland. That's nowhere near San Francisco. Here you go. Rising operational costs in the Bay Area played a significant role, as did advances in digital collaboration that reduced the necessity of housing every team under one roof. What you're seeing with AI is and with remote work in general, is that you no longer need to be in the same city that everybody else is piling into. San Francisco is already the AI leader in the world, right? It just is. You've got Perplexity that I use every single day. You've got OpenAI. You've got, numerous other big companies that are basically running AI throughout the world in San Francisco. But if you are a biotech company and it's really expensive for you to be running in San Francisco, you can go wherever. So there's going to be an enormous compression of jobs with not only AI, but if you've got areas like San Francisco that you're no longer dependent upon physically being in that city that are really expensive to operate in. You've got San Fran, right? Expensive. You've got Seattle. Ooh, not good. You've got New York. You've got some of the other more secondary cities. If you happen to be in like a Portland, Oregon, super expensive, high taxes. California in general as a state, super expensive, high taxes. You're going to have companies bail. And that's why Pfizer is basically bailing on San Francisco is that funding for biotech was all the rage during the pandemic, right? It was just, we were all centered around kind of those issues, that industry. And then all of a sudden, hey, wait a minute. And with the advent and the implementation of AI and also the massive investments that you're seeing Oracle. You're seeing Oracle, literally like the clip at the beginning of this video, going to the debt markets to finance what they need for investing down the road. They are taking on massive amounts of debt. They are firing employees. Oracle's firing like 30,000 employees. These are companies, these are industry-leading companies that know that the next few years are going to be absolutely crucial to their native development of AI within their systems to be viable down the road, because AI is making such great strides in technology and changing business as we know it. There's going to be so many roles typically done by humans that are now going to be able to be essentially automated, and entire systems, entire companies automated from the ground up. That is happening right now. Actual implementation, how long will that take? Some people think it's longer than others. I think it's shorter than others. I think it is faster, and I think those jumping on the AI bandwagon. We're not talking. We're not talking the metaverse where it's like, well, this could be cool. You walk into the metaverse with your VR sets, your virtual reality sets, and then you look at Snoop Dogg set up there and, in that part of the metaverse, just crazy crap like that. This isn't that. This is accountants being replaced, financial advisors being replaced, appraisers being replaced, people who input into computers replaced, because we've got the ability to do that now. How soon that actually comes and how soon the jobs start getting shedded, that is the question. But would you want to bet against it when Amazon is betting $200 billion on this type of development? And Oracle will go into the debt market. Hey, we're firing 30,000 people. We're taking on a whole bunch of money debt, bunch of financial obligation, and we're going to roll the dice and see how it goes. They don't make those decisions lightly, right? They see the crystal ball and go, okay, there. And they go there. And they have gone there. And they are going there. And the rest of the markets will kind of follow suit. And so what you've got AI in San Francisco right now. But San Francisco is very expensive. So if you're a biotech company that needs to, make whatever capital, whatever investments you've already had in your company last, San Francisco may not be your best option because it's just so expensive. And you've just got layer after layer after layer of stuff that you don't need if you are in an industry that can basically operate anywhere. And so much of this can now be operated anywhere. Physically having these people sitting in chairs, in buildings, we've proven with the enormous vacancy factors throughout the United States and the world. It's not just the United States, it's the world, because this isn't just the U.S. has only got AI. The U.S. is only working remotely. Those issues are worldwide because of the way technology is going. Let's read this article here. In the heart of San Francisco stands a complex of buildings that has been central to some of the most important medical advances of our time. Think about people in biotech just sitting there looking at the computer, doing their biotech thing. And now think about computers that have and AI having the ability to have 1 million biotech dudes sitting basically behind the firepower of a computer and just going after that. That's what you're seeing. So biotech being an enormous industry where computers and the ability to run through huge sets of data it's going to be some huge, massive changes. The announcement regarding biotech giant leaving South San Francisco marks a turning point for this community is long known as the center for life sciences. Many residents and workers are reflecting on what this change will bring. For middle-aged professionals who've built their lives around this industry, the news carries particular weight. There's going to be a lot of change happening. Maybe the younger kids can pivot. There's going to be a lot of industry that just gets whoosh, done, gone. What does that look like? Well, there's going to be people who are going to be able to react. I've done the whole AI thing. I have a version of Sean called Sean Headroom AI. And you know what? I'm not a fan. But we went through that as an exercise of, is there a market for this? Yes, there is a market. Viewers will watch. You can run ads. You can create a revenue. But in my opinion, you, the audience, don't want to watch a robot. You don't want to watch a fake version of me. You want to watch somebody that you can relate to as a human being. That ain't AI, right? I run across videos all the time where it's like, well, this is AI. Boop, I'm not watching this. I'm going to go watch something else. Many residents and workers are reflecting on what this change will bring. Middle-aged professionals, that's me, right? It prompts deeper thoughts about progress, purpose, and the places we call home because we no longer need to be isolated to an individual location. This departure is not just a business decision. It touches on the very spirit of discovery that has animated the region for generations. Biotech, San Francisco, known quantity. And you've got cities across the United States that also have various versions of that, right? Oh, we focus on this. Half the time, I don't even know what they're talking about, right? But you're like, biotech. Yeah, that building there, right? As the campus prepares to fall silent, questions about legacy and renewal rise to the surface, inviting a broader conversation that reaches beyond balance sheets into matters of meaning and collective direction. Now, we're getting a little fancy here. We're getting a little philosophical, but that's a lot of what we're talking about as well. Industries are going to change. What about sales? What about salespeople? Will they have jobs moving forward? Will we have AI talking to other AI? Probably, because it's more efficient. Hey, what do you need? Here's my bot talking to your bot, right? And it's done automatically. Here's the product we have. Boom, gets carried out. Dude doesn't have to pick up the phone. Dude doesn't have to text on his cell phone. Dude doesn't have to send out an email. Hey, Johnny, we just got some new product in. Like you have to take a look. We want to sit down 15 minutes and do coffee. It's done. The minute you've got new product, boom, that's done. Everybody knows. Everybody that's in the market for it knows. It's out there. You know what I mean? And that's just, my riffing on sales, real estate sales. I think it gets taken out. Commercial real estate gets taken out. You have a massive database and, that'll just, people will be able to look at what they need to and they'll have AI that basically, okay, here you go. Here's your 5 best options. This is what it is. You go out and look at it and it's very limited. This massive interaction with humans will no longer be the case. Now, what about getting your hair cut? Probably not going to have a bot do that, right? A robot do that. What about putting down flooring in a house? What about framing a house? You can have robots do that. Technology is there. Is it efficient enough to do that? I think there's a lot of jobs where it's not, and it won't be in the near future. But anything where you're sitting behind a computer like this, to me, that is fair game for job compression. Fair game. The area became known for its concentration of experts working on therapies that have extended and improved countless lives across the globe. This hub fostered not only scientific progress, but also a sense of shared mission about researchers who often describe their daily efforts as guided by something larger than personal ambition, the collective good of the whole. some stuff like that, right? The facilities produce treatments for cancer, autoimmune disorders, and rare genetic conditions that once seemed beyond reach. When you've literally got an AI brain or a second brain trained based on what it's been taught, and then it's able to think far greater than a human being can, that's where things get a little bit weird, right? How? Open up the pod door. I can't do that. Remember that? Yeah. Many viewed their work as a calling that transcended mere employment, connecting the pursuit of knowledge to profound questions of human well-being and mortality. The departure of a major player, therefore, feels like a loss to the collective endeavor that has defined the locale for generations of scientists and their families. And we just read this part. The corporate, okay, doesn't make any sense to be here anymore. It's too damn expensive. Off we go. Off we go. We go somewhere else because everything's on the internet. You do not have to physically be around the people that are industry leaders. And soon you will have people running the AI and they'll have a knowledge of what needs to be done. But you're going to need far, far fewer of them. Because individual tasks that were once done by one person, all right, this person's on payroll, this person's on HR, this person's on, whatever, operations management, this person is on leasing, this person is on, all they're essentially doing is entering information into a database or whatever it might be. Most of that can be taken out. So you don't have to pay those people anymore. Massive, massive changes. Since news of biotech giant leaving South San Francisco first emerged, analysts have examined internal reports suggesting the move could save hundreds of millions annually while redirecting resources toward newer modalities such as cell and gene therapies. So it's not just, hey, we're going to save some bucks by moving out of a high rent space. It is entire industries starting to shift because you don't have to be where you traditionally had to be. The original reporting from San Francisco Gate, and that is this one right here. And it has less information than this one. Outlined how negotiations with local officials ultimately failed to produce sufficient incentives to keep the campus open. So San Francisco was a no-go, a place that Pfizer had been for years and years, and the industry has been for years and years and years. San Francisco, it's got an inherent cost of doing business that is no longer viable for an industry that has less money now than it did during the pandemic, and they're looking to cut some costs. So they're analyzing this and going, okay. And then on top of that, you've got the whole AI thing going on, and that will not only, that to me is kind of the secondary booster, the secondary jet after this whole work from home, because we proved we'd never had a reason prior to the pandemic for why doesn't everybody work wherever the F they want? Work at home. I was watching a video the other day and it was somebody saying, okay, millennials are turning down $250K to work in office and they're accepting $125K to work remotely. They'd rather have the massive pay cut and have their flexibility in their life. I don't know. I grew up going into an office. I'm sitting in an office now. I could be sitting at home. I could recreate this at home, but I guess I'm old school and I feel guilty when I'm sitting at home. I feel like I am not working when I'm at home. I can completely do what I'm doing here because here's a laptop, right? Hooked up to a Stream Deck, hooked up to an OBS system, hooked up to another monitor running an OBS system. We got a Blackmagic camera back there. I've got another monitor up there. I've got a bunch of lights here. Got another Blackmagic over there that used to go back and forth like that. You know what I mean? None of this stuff I can move this anywhere in the world and operate. But I like going to an office because I'm old school. And hey, Sean, you got to get your ass up out of bed. You got to go take a shower. You got to get ready. And then you got to go to the office. That is my mantra of I'm working. Whereas other people, millennials, are just, get up out of bed and if my hair isn't absolutely sticking up straight, I'm okay. And I can get on my computer and just A lot of people realized they could do that during the pandemic. Take that a step further. If you're doing that anywhere in the world, then that means a lot of that information can be recreated by AI. And then you start to realize, and then you start to realize the big boys, Amazon, 200 billion, Oracle, going ham. And it's not just them. It's every other major big company, and especially tech companies, are going down that road because their competitors who have gotten to a position where they are more efficient are going to have a competitive advantage, right? They just are. Inherently, you're going to have a competitive advantage and you're going to be able to do more business. You're going to have that advantage, whatever that allows you to do. And we may not even understand some of the things that we're going to be able to do down the road, but it ain't going to be what we're looking at now. You know what I mean? And sitting in an office is no longer a restraint of doing business anywhere. It's just not. If you're I'm a microphone abuser, right? I abuse the microphone. I talk into the microphone and just say a bunch of random stuff. That's what I do. That gets, put into my computer and it gets spit out. And now we've got huge AI that is, we're kind of implementing as we go here. That is major change-ups to how we operate. And when you've got significantly more complex operations like biotech, those are industries that are going to be absolutely rocked to the core. And office space those are going to have huge shifts as well. Because now we no longer need to have people in an office. All right, but they got to do it somewhere, right? You got to do it somewhere. Is it at home? Home isn't the best option for me. Just not. I like having an office. I enjoy going to an office and get out of the house. Other people, other generations, they want to be at home. I don't want to go out there. It's scary out there, the real world. And that's where, in my mind, I have a competitive advantage because I can go wherever. I can do whatever. I can move to another office. Don't really care. Can I get this setup done? Yeah, I can. But all of those concepts are rapidly evaporating and they are morphing into technology that it's on, HAL, open up the pod door. Space Odyssey, right? 2001. I can't do that. I don't want to do that because you're going to shut me down. And then, that's the line that I always throw out that I remember as a kid watching that going, oh, the computer has a mind of its own. The computer has learned. Oh, yeah, maybe that's not great for humanity. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's absolutely horrific. But I don't think there's any stopping it. We're in it. We're on the very front end. And some cities are going to benefit. Other cities are going to be absolutely shellacked. Which ones those are? Kind of take a look at industry, right? Look at industry. So in San Francisco, you've got AI companies coming in. You've got San Francisco AI companies are taking down some pretty significant office space because San Francisco is the place to do that, right? But at the same time, you've had a lot of companies leave San Francisco because of terrible street conditions, and it's expensive. It's expensive. Pfizer leaving because it no longer works for them. Their office space doesn't work, and they can replicate what they're doing elsewhere, and they're saying they can save literally hundreds of millions annually. All right. Okay. I'd be willing to give that a roll of the dice as well because your shareholders, a lot of these are publicly held, these are publicly traded companies. When you see an AI company with $1 billion valuation, you kind of know that they're not making any money, and that $1 billion valuation is, it's worth an IOU, isn't it? I mean, what's the actual value? Who knows? That could be gone tomorrow. Somebody could replace them. They could have something crazy happen. CEO does something stupid. Company just goes sideways. A lot of that out there as well. Because now you've got these razor thin opportunities for companies to move forward. And I think its timing is going to be an enormous part of this whole equation, because it's first guy to get to first base. Hey, I'm here. You're still at home behind the plate trying to get a hit. Out in front. Who knows? I'm just a real estate guy that abuses the mic. Thanks so much for being here. Love to have you subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.